Happy Wednesday, everybody, and welcome into the Graham Lincoln Mac Lane podcast presented by Ingles, the official supermarket of Graham Lincoln Mac Lane. And we are on the other side of 300. I can't believe it, Mac. 301. And we're talking Louisville Cardinals today.
New horizons, new journeys, new expectations. And you know how we're going to start things off? With an offensive line, baby. Come on. We got him in here. Bryan Hudson, my guy, he's coming in. He's joining the show today. Center for the Louisville Cardinals. Also a track and field star. Kelly likes to put a lot of emphasis on the field for some reason during this interview. I don't know why.
See, track and field is always fun to do as a sport because you can say, I play track and field, or I do track and field. But obviously our guy, Brian, he's a shot putter, so he's not really on the track.
Come on.
I'm just saying.
Come on. He walks across the track to get to the field. He's on the track.
Okay, that's fair. That's very fair.
Anyway, rude.
I know you're always the love fest with Mac and his lineman. It never ends. Before we get to Bryan Hudson, who was awesome, and then, of course, we'll break down Louisville on the other side. This show is brought to you by Ingles, our amazing friends over at Ingles. And, Mac, you've been grilling a lot this summer. I mean, you have been in your bag. Do you have anything that you want to do before you start traveling a bunch with football? Like, is there anything left on your grilling summer bucket list?
Yes, 100%. I'm glad you brought this up, but I do want to bring out a critique real quick. It's very rare that my food gets critiqued, but it got critiqued.
Did someone hate on you?
That's not true. No, not a hate. Just a coach 'em up moment. So I go on this podcast with some NC State guys. Actually, our Rock'em Sox winner, by the way, for NC State. And so I'm going on there, and we're just talking about food and different stuff. And he was like, yeah, man, I saw you made some BLTs. Those tomatoes look really good. I was like, yeah, man, it was cool. He's like, you know how you can take it to another level? And I was like thinking, like, how possibly could you make a BLT, like, different or better than what it is? Like, it's just kind of borderline.
Right.
He said, you got to make your own bacon. And I was like, whoa. Wow. That's a game changer. I mean, yeah, if I had the capabilities, I would do that. Big old thick slices of bacon. Are you a thick? We're about to go.
Wait.
We're about
pause.
to go the path.
Like.
I think he means like cut.
Buy a pig?
No, like buy. I don't know what pieces of bacon. I don't even know. This is bad that I don't know this. I think he just.
I don't want to make my own bacon.
Buy the slab and then cut it yourself. That's what I think he means. But with that in mind, we're going off the rails here, which I love.
If you're not watching on YouTube, go to YouTube and see my face because I'm like, what?
Are you a thick bacon gal? You like thick cut or not really?
Okay, I like all bacon. I do not discriminate against bacon.
Okay,
that's I'm good with any kind of bacon, but the requirement for me is that I don't cut my own bacon.
Okay,
like
good
I
to know.
One time, this is going off the rails. One time we were on a road trip with Clemson basketball, and I forget where we were, what year. It was a holiday tournament, and we show up for it was a pregame meal, and for some reason, whoever was serving this meal decided to just put a whole pig in there.
Yes.
And then just like, you know what I mean? Like have the pig and it was cut open. You could see its face and then have the pork inside of it.
What?
And one of our coaches was like so grossed out she had to leave the room.
Wow.
But like, I don't want that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I love meat. I don't want to see the face of my meat.
Yeah.
I don't need to see that. And I don't need to even see the process or do a step in the process myself.
Yeah.
No. I'm Gucci. So I'm not making my own bacon, but you know what? Respect to those people that do, but that's not for me.
Follow up. How do you like your bacon cooked?
I like it to be pretty crispy.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
We can keep
crispy.
doing this podcast. Cool. 300
crispy.
and beyond. Here we go. Yeah, I'm a burnt crispy guy. Like I want it to break when I grab it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, agreed. And that's even better for a BLT because it's just crunchier.
Exactly. Okay.
Beautiful.
Anyway, I digress. I think Brian would do the same thing. He loves food. Obviously, plays the position that you get to eat whatever you want. I don't remember what I said before leading all of this, but I know that we have to get to Ingles, and we have to have a message from them. So before we jump into this great interview with Brian, here's a message from our friends over at Ingles.
At Ingles, we're proud to work with hundreds of local farms and businesses in the communities we call home. Not only does it ensure that you get top-quality, fresh items for your family table, it's a way for us to support the amazing individuals who pour their heart and soul into delivering the very best they can do. Quality, freshness, community, it's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Bryan Hudson, my man, welcome into the podcast. And listen, you and I had a little bit of exchange, but now I get to see this glorious thing in all of its beautifulness, this mustache right here. What's the plan? You said before we started recording, you haven't shaved in like forever. How long are we going?
I would say at least to the end of the season. I may do the whole, just until we lose, but it'll probably be on until the end of the season, I'd say.
So hold on. Do you trim the beard too, or just what's the lineup?
Yeah. So what I did through track season this past spring was when we came up to a big meet, I would just trim the beard and just leave the mustache. And I couldn't take myself to just shave the rest of it, so I just trim it down and leave the stash. But right now through fall camp, I'm probably going to just let it all go. But we'll see when it comes to the first game.
I love that.
That's what O linemen do. That's what I've learned. People need to Google Max college beard. We'll send that to you, Brian.
I think
something to aspire to.
Producer Kelly, you can pop that up for all the people to see in all its glory.
It was something.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. B, how's summer been, man? Because it's funny, and I don't know if you feel about this now, but I'm sure you will later because I think you're a gym rat and the things that you like to do. Summer was always the time that I love the best, man, because you're just working out, you're with your guys. Sometimes there's school, sometimes there's not, depending on what your schedule looks like. How has summer been for you personally?
Yeah, it's been awesome. This has probably been the best summer that we've had since I've been here at Louisville, especially. But yeah, I mean, it's been exactly that. We have lift in the morning, then the O-line, we eat breakfast, we go into the meeting room, we go into the weight room for extra drills. We're always in the building. Right now, I'm sitting in the tight end room just because there's some guys in the O-line room watching some film. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's been good, and we've been. It's been different. We got several new guys in the room, and obviously a whole new staff here. So it's been a lot of learning for everyone, and a lot of getting to know some people. But we've come together really nice, and it's been a really fun summer.
We're going to get to all the newness with Louisville, but I want to ask you this, Brian. I'm curious how this translates to your football skill set. You were the 2018 Gatorade Track and Field Male Athlete of the Year when you were in high school. You are still doing track and field, really the field part, for Louisville with the shot put. And you're one of the best shot put. I mean, this is intense, man, what you do with shot put. So how does that help you with your O-line play, what you do on the field side of track and field?
Yeah, it helps out a lot. And I've said that for a long time. I've been doing track since middle school, football for longer than that. But,
wow.
Track has been tremendous in helping me, especially early on in high school. But just the flexibility, the footwork, just how detail oriented it is. Because in throwing and all throwing events, but especially shot put, it's so technical, and just the very small things, that details. If just a little bit's off, if you don't turn your hip just right, or don't get your hip all the way through, if your foot lands wrong, just very little things can throw off the whole throw. And I think that also correlates to O-line play.
Yeah.
And, just how detail-oriented and how accurate, specific you have to be, with your hands, your feet, your hat placement, and eyes, everything, from an IQ and mental standpoint. I love competing, and that competitiveness that comes with track and field, because the only difference between football and track in that way is you get 3 tries in track and field to be able to do something. So, you have that pressure on you. Whereas, in football, there's still pressure on you, but you get 80 plays a game, so it's a little bit different. But from a physical standpoint, like I said, that footwork and just, they're very similar. If you look at the athletes back to side to side, they're very similar.
I love that, man. I love big athletes. And KG, he's on the track side too. Okay, he's doing the 100-meter. Don't play with the speed of the offensive line here.
Usain Bolt.
That's right. Well, Brian, again, appreciate you joining us, man. And you mentioned that it's a very different summer because there's so many new guys and different off season, player wise, but also a new coaching staff. And Coach Brom, who played at Louisville, is Louisville. Finally has come home. I've been calling for this for a couple years now, it seems. And he's here and he's back. So I just wanted to know, I guess, your initial reaction, how the offseason has been, spring, summer, and all of that, having Coach Brom as your new leader.
Yeah, it's been awesome. We all were really excited. All the returners were really excited when we found out that he was the coach and came in and he spoke to the team, and it was just a lot of excitement, new energy in the building. From a schematic standpoint, it's been a lot different. Coach Brom's offense is it's a lot compared to most people's offense, but especially the one that we ran the past few years. So it's been an adjustment. We're doing things, in the O-line room that we haven't done in the past year. So it's really good for us, and we're really excited about it. And Coach Owens and the whole staff has done a really good job in just helping us out and helping us adapt to them and them adapt to us. And that whole deal has went really well. So it's
that's awesome.
A lot of new energy. Yeah, it's been good.
Sure. How is his temperament just about the program, like the ownership? Because that's his school, right? Like he wants it to be the best. So have you noticed just a little bit? I don't know how to describe it. A different energy, a different care. And I know the previous staff did, but when it's yours, I mean, it means that much more to you.
Oh, absolutely. I think him, especially just that whole family being from Louisville. Like we've said, and they grew up here, and they're a lot of the staff, aside from the Broms, a lot of the other staff has been, they either played here or they're from here or they're from the state, and it's just that different level of pride, I would say, that, it just brings that edge to you on a daily basis. And you can see it in Coach every day, every practice he brings that to the team. And it is just a different feel to it, because me being an in-state guy, I can say that, there's a lot of pride that comes with playing here, and Coach Brom definitely brings that every day. You can feel it, like I said.
Tell us more about what we can expect from this offense. The coach brings in Jack Plummer, who has run his offense before, so that seems like that's going to help. But, from an O-line perspective, what have you seen that's different? What can Louisville fans expect from this offense?
Yeah, Jack has been a big help to us. He's a really good leader, and him knowing the offense and knowing Coach Brom and them has helped us just, be able to adapt as an O-line, because if we don't know something, we have Jack right there. He's able to help us out and kind of clear our minds a little bit and relieve some of that stress, just because he knows, a lot of the stuff already and a lot of the offense. And I think the sky's the limit for this offense. I mean, it's really exciting. We were talking about it a little bit this morning, me and a couple of the guys, on just how we don't know exactly how good we're going to be, just because we have so much potential, and there's still a lot of work to be done. But I think you can expect a lot of points and a lot of explosive plays, because that's like I said, we have a lot of potential, and we're excited to see what we can do with it.
Did I send you the script? Because that's exactly how this next question goes. It has Brom's system produces all kinds of production, points, and yards. That's what I have written down here.
Yes.
And that's what they do. And I think, what's been not unique to Louisville, for these changing coaches, is they've scored points. When you look at the last 10 years of what Louisville has been able to do offensively, it's been different. But at the end of the day, they're scoring and they're being very productive. So I'm excited to see what this new iteration looks like with Coach Brom and your guys' system this coming year. Who are some guys that have really stepped up? Because as we mentioned, it's a lot of new faces, a lot of new guys that either moved on or transferred out. Who are guys that you've seen really put in some extra work where you're like, okay, this guy's going to help us this season?
Yeah, I think we have the guys that are returning, like Ashton Gelati. You have Michael Gonzalez on the O-line, Renato Brown. You have Jarvis Brownlee as a corner, and then all those guys. I mean, like I said, the O-line. We're in here pretty much all day, every day, getting work in, and those are some of the guys that you see also in here. In the weight room and the training room, just finding some way to get an edge, and they're great leaders for the team. And Jawar Jordan's another one, running back. And then you have Jack Plummer. But I could list probably 15 or 20 guys, that I see in here, every day, every week, on Saturdays. Just at any given time, there's going to be several guys in here getting work, and not only that, but just them being able to bring other people and the younger guys along, because we also, we brought in, I want to say there's somewhere around 40 newcomers between freshmen and transfers that came in. So a lot of new faces, but those are some of the guys that are just able to not only get better themselves, but to bring people along with them. And that's how you elevate the team, and that's how you get more wins in the fall. So it's exciting to see. But I could list probably 20 guys, but those are some of the ones that stick out to me.
Let's talk a little defense here, Brian. I know you go up against those guys every day, and this defense was so crazy last year with the sacks, the turnovers forced. Matt called the weight game, so that was just people still think about that game. The game was absolutely absurd. So with the new staff and Coach Brom coming in and putting his stamp on this system, can we expect still some of the same from this defense?
Oh, absolutely. We still have a lot of playmakers on that side of the ball. Like I said, a lot of new faces also, so it'll be interesting to see. Even from the spring, it'll be interesting to see, here in the fall that just whole system develop. And but yeah, we, like I said, a lot of playmakers over there, and I think that you should expect nothing short of at least what we did last year, if not more, because all the guys are fired up, and it'll be fun this fall camp to battle with those guys.
Speaking of that weight game, though, what was going through your mind when all those picks were happening and all those turnovers?
Right. Honestly, I couldn't even tell you. The first half went kind of like a normal game. It was a little bit back and forth. We were playing well, but I just remember in the third quarter, the offense, we'd score, we'd go over there, sit down, start talking about the series, and then all of a sudden we just hear this roar of the crowd. Then we'd start scrambling
Get
around,
back up.
grabbing our helmets. Right. That happened, 3 or 4 times. I think, what was it, like 8 turnovers in the third quarter? Yeah. So, it was just, we were over there wondering what in the world is going on. Like, what's in the air in Louisville today? Something's happening. But
right.
it was a lot of fun. And, I'll remember that game for forever. But, it was just a fun experience.
Yeah, I will too, brother. I'm glad I got to be a part of that. That was that was a top 10 weight team. That was a weight team that was really playing at a high level, and then y'all just said, "No, we're good. We got this."
Right.
And just crazy. And it was like it was totally different guys. I think I don't think anybody had 2 sacks, and I think y'all had close to 10. And it was different people every time. It was nuts just to see what happened there. All right, before we get you out of here, I do have to bring this up because I think there's like this new emphasis that's going to be put on it with having Coach Brom in as the head coach, you being from Kentucky yourself, that Kentucky game. Put it in perspective to us how much that matters, how much you think about it. And I know every game's important. I've been there, done that with you. But that game, man, you got to get it back this year, right?
I completely agree. It was refreshing to me. Obviously there was excitement from Coach Brom coming back anyways, and that new start. But I was really happy to see him, just a family that's so, invested in this community and in this town and this team and school, just be able to come back and kind of bring just that little extra edge, that little extra sense of pride, especially for that game, because I know it means a lot to me, because I'm from Georgetown, which is right in their backyard, and every time I go anywhere close to home, it's nothing but blue and white, and well, the lights went out in here, but there we go. But yeah, so it's something special to me, and I think all the guys here can attest to that. There was a little extra bit of intensity, before that game, especially last year. But that game with Coach Brom being in our place, I think it's going to be a really special time, and it's definitely something different. Like you said, every game matters, and we go one at a time. But going through this off season, that game every day has been in the back of my mind. So
no doubt,
I'm waiting on
it. Okay, so I have done some research during the break here, and I was embarrassed. I kind of did remember. You guys will never hear this, but I did remember as soon as we got done. Bacon is either, I'm going to look at my phone here, belly or back sides. of the pig.
Great.
So kind of like back straps. That's what making it. And I knew that, and I should have remembered. And I'm embarrassed I didn't say it. But anyway, wanted to clear that up. KG is going to actually post a YouTube video later of slicing up a pig, cutting her own bacon. So we're excited. Jacob will be right there supervising.
It is the absolute last thing I ever want to do. And I think if you cut your own bacon, that you are doing too much. Just going to put that out there. You're doing too much, friends.
Can we
Okay.
talk about the Cards a little bit? Come
Please. Let's talk about the Louisville Cardinals. Are they going to bring home the bacon this year, Mac?
on.
The win total is 8. Let's get into it. Let's start with new head coach, Jeff Brom, who
Yeah.
I know is very excited to be in Louisville. He's a Louisville guy through and through. He's a legend in Louisville. Mac, you were able to chat with him a little bit at ACC kickoff.
Yes.
The excitement is off the charts.
Yeah.
In Louisville, for Louisville, even outside of Louisville. I think a lot of people are picking Louisville to perhaps go over that number.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, you look at that schedule, you look at Coach Brom being back, you look at the offense he's bringing in. Man, starting with Coach Brom, he's awesome. I love sitting down with him, getting to meet him. I actually saw him the day before because I think they were the first team, one of the first teams.
Yeah, first day.
And so we saw him, that first night, and we were all going to this really nice, restaurant and fun
Bougie.
stuff. And he's like, "Where y'all going?" And we explained. He's like, "Oh, cool. We're just going to the Wendy's down the street." And of course, joking. I think they went to a really nice steakhouse too. But it was
Not
cool.
Jeff Ruby's.
Yeah, that's facts. Nobody's going to Jeff Ruby's. That's the best. Can't wait. We need to go to Louisville so I can go there again. But yeah, it was good to get to know him, kind of hear his thoughts about his team and how important it is for him to be back to Louisville. Kind of similar to what I was talking about with Coach Key there and being at Georgia Tech. It matters to him, man. He's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
This dude's jersey's retired. It's a big deal. And I tell you, everything that you need to know about Coach Brom. I saw this clip come across. I think Eric Wood posted it. And it was Coach Brom playing in the XFL. And
I
apparently,
love this clip.
We need to find it and put it in. I'm going to describe it, but we need to put it in here. Apparently, he had a massive hit or got injured or something the week before. Next week, he's walking on the field. They interview him. Say, "Coach, how are you here?" Not Coach, QB. How are you here, Jeff? How are you doing this? And he said, "I will answer that with two questions on my own. Is this or is this not the XFL? Yes, it is. Do I or do I not have a pulse? Yes, I do. Let's play football." And I'm like, yeah.
I love
Until there's
it.
no breath left. So yeah, he's gonna kill it, man. He's gonna be amazing. The emphasis on that Kentucky game, I cannot stress that enough. And I know that means so much to him. And we asked Brian about that. And he said, "Oh, yeah, we know. And I'm a Kentucky boy, too, and I know. And we're ready to get going." So that brings me great joy to know that.
I love that clip. That clip is epic. And I think it very much sums up Coach Brom. And the interesting thing
Yes.
with Louisville, and I believe I said this in our kickoff recap episode, Louisville does not have a new coach because their coach got fired necessarily or they had a terrible year. They went 8-5. They won their bowl, and Satterfield just left because he wanted to. So this is not necessarily a rebuild. Now, they do have a bunch of transfers, a ton of transfers, and a new look. But this team won 8 games last year, and they also lost to Florida State by 4. They lost to BC by 1, and they were very much in the Clemson game. So
Right.
this could have been a 10-win team, which is
Which is
crazy to say. Now,
Bonkers.
this is a brand new look, Mac. And we know Jack Plummer is in at QB. Jawar Jordan is back at running back. With a team like this that you've studied, with all these transfers, what do we know? What do we know about what we're going to be able to see from this team?
Well, great question, because the answer technically is not a lot. But what you do know is Coach Brom has great success offensively, right? Calling plays as a head coach, the scheme, the system, everything that they do, it's explosive. And they're going to put up some yards. They're going to put up some points. We talked with Brian about that. He said it's been an overhaul, just jam-packing stuff from a schematic standpoint, which I'm very excited to see. Not that they were basic, but they definitely had a very small core set of plays that they ran, for the Satterfield era there. And that sounds like it's going to change. We do know that Jack Plummer, had 3,000 yards passing, and is a guy that is certainly capable of being very accurate, throwing the ball in the end zone. He's a big guy, 6'5", 215. I think that's very important and impressive. Jawar Jordan was more than impressive a year ago with the things that he was able to do. So the biggest question mark for me, though, is we've got to see playmakers on the outside really step up. I mean, that had been absent for a couple of years now for Louisville. And, all the shots that they would take with, some of those amazing players that they had, maybe those first couple of years that Satterfield took over. Tutu, man, he was so good. Fitzpatrick, all these guys that were just absolute burners. And I'm excited to see who can fill that void and who can step up, because it's 41 new faces. That is crazy between transfers and freshmen. The offense is going to look way different. The coaching staff, again, I mentioned this Kentucky thing. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys that graduated from Louisville, and then 2 other coaches that played at Western Kentucky. So they understand the importance of the state and what football means and things of that nature. So I expect this to be a totally different looking team. They have a very favorable schedule. How can they pull it together quickly? And who knows? They've recruited really well. Louisville's going to continue to do that. NIL's been popping for Louisville. That's really helped them out. And so I think we see that continue. And these guys they might be a force to reckon with Coach Brom.
They might. Now, let's talk defense before we get to this schedule, because I actually think this schedule isn't as easy as everyone's claiming it is, just because you don't have Clemson and Florida State. I'll tell you what I mean, Mac. But this defense last year was the most fun part of Louisville, for sure. And you lose some dudes to the NFL.
Yeah.
They led the country in sacks last year. I don't know if you're going to be able to replicate that. They're moving from a 4-3 to a 4-2-5, so maybe a little more reliance on the secondary, which could be interesting. But, Mac, do you feel like we'll still get a little bit of what we saw from this defense last year? Is it going to be completely different? What's your vibe there?
I think it's going to be completely different just because of who you're losing. I mean, so many guys that were just really good pieces, for this team. And there's a handful back, but, you lost a lot, to the NFL and a couple of transfers. It's hard to replicate that. And they've been there together. They're growing. They trust the defense, things of that nature. Now, from an aggressive standpoint and what you try to want to do, maybe, but I think it's going to be really hard to replicate that production. First in points allowed in the ACC, second in picks, first in sack. Like, that's crazy. That's a super productive, wild defense, and a lot of those numbers came in the Wake Forest game.
True. And it's a new system. It's a new system
it's a
for
new
a lot of these
system.
guys.
So there's going to be a learning curve, but I certainly think that there's some pieces there if they get it going and get it in the right way. Again, momentum is nuts. If you can win some games and get it going, who knows? Look out.
Okay, so let me tell you why I don't think the schedule is as easy as people are saying. Because, look, I think you start off with Georgia Tech. At Georgia Tech, we talked with Roddy Jones on Monday about Georgia Tech. I'm not sure that's necessarily a gimme,
right?
Considering Louisville has all these brand new faces and it's game 1.
Yeah,
and I know Georgia Tech has a lot of new faces too, but still. And then you have some winnable games in September, sure. But this is a little bit of a murderer's row here in the middle.
Yeah.
At NC State, Notre Dame, at Pitt, bye week,
right?
Duke. What's easy about that, Mac? And then you have Virginia Tech, Virginia back-to-back. Those should be wins. Then you got to go to Miami, and you got Kentucky.
Right. Yeah.
I'm not buying it's as easy as people say.
The thing is, though, with not having Clemson, not having Florida State, not having UNC. I mean, if you you replace Virginia, BC, and Georgia Tech with those three, I mean, my gosh.
It could be harder.
The hardest schedule
of course,
in the country.
It could be harder.
Yeah,
but is it just the easiest schedule I've ever seen? No. I don't think so.
That's why I like the word favorable. I like the word favorable. It kind of protects you a little bit there. What's the number? The number's 8. That's what we kind of landed on.
What they did last year, 8. But that's with the bowl game.
Yeah, and I just have to think under. It's too much uncertainty for me.
I agree.
The potential is out of this world. And like I said, it could be there. And I really like Coach Brom. I think his staff that he's put together is very impressive. Pieces are there, but can you put the pieces together and have this great-looking puzzle? Who knows? That's what will be interesting to see. So I think I'm going to do – I don't know. Is it safe? Is it safe to do that? I'm going to go under. I'm going to go under 8.
There are so many unknowns, like we said, 40-something transfers. And I still think this schedule has some very difficult challenges. So I think 7-5 is what we see, and then maybe 8 with the bowl, but these win totals do not count the bowl. So
there we go.
You could end up winning 8. And I think that'd be a very good start under Jeff Brom. But
beating Kentucky and winning 8 games
Exactly.
Super Bowl freaking champs. Let's do it.
That's what you got to do. And you're right. The Kentucky game, November 25th, at home. You get them at
Yes.
home. That's huge.
Pack it out. I think honestly that's one piece too that we will be able to see very quickly how excited people are.
Yeah.
Because I went to that Louisville Wake Forest game.
You were disappointed.
Top 10 Wake Forest team walking into, Cardinal Stadium, and it was empty. It was empty. I mean, it was 30% capacity. It was embarrassing. And everything I'd heard about Louisville, I thought it was going to be jam-packed, rocked out. A lot of that was maybe the fans, not feeling the prior staff. But this is their dude. This is one of their sons back.
Mm-hmm.
It needs to be popping in Louisville. What's popping, Jack Harlow? What's up, baby? Come on.
And I think it will. I think the excitement is palpable. And the first home game's Murray State. That, should be a win, should be a feel-good situation. Second home game's Boston College. I think you can get some fans there. And then, look, if you're 4-0, you got NC State. Maybe you win that, 5-0, 4-1.
Yeah.
A Dame at home October 7th. That should be lit.
Pack it out. Pack it out, baby.
I'm very intrigued. I just think 8 is a high number.
Louisville has my attention. But
yes, I agree.
The key, do not be the team of mystery like you've been for the past 3 years.
I think they're done with that.
That's
it's a little bit just part of what it is because it's a year one and a bunch of transfers. But I don't think we're going to say that year in and year out about Louisville under Jeff Brom.
Yes, that's what I'm hoping for. KG, that's it. This is fun. We're on a roll here with these ACC previews. Louisville, you're done. Appreciate Rocco for helping setting this up. Bryan Hudson, my man, jumping on here, and great to talk with him about his time and the Louisville Cardinals. But that's it from us. Another great episode of Gramlich and Mac Lane brought to you by our friends over at Ingles, the official grocer of Gramlich and Mac Lane. We appreciate them and all their support. We need you guys. We need your support right now. Go over to YouTube, subscribe, leave some comments. We need you. We're doing some fun stuff over here. You got to check it out. You got to watch it. And, of course, the OGs over on Apple Podcasts. Rate, review, subscribe there. We would greatly appreciate it. But until next time, we'll see y'all.